sunset or the splendor of a rainbow overhead. She may not have known an autumn by its color, or the wonder of a snowflake, but instead she saw grace, she saw love, a Savior's face, a home above. Not with earthly eyes, yet her story testifies through the precious words she left for you and me. She saw what only eyes of faith can see. Not with earthly eyes, yet her story testifies through the precious words she left for you and me. She saw what only eyes of faith can see.
Such is the story of Frances Jane Crosby. Born in 1820 in New York and raised in a family of strong Puritan influence, Fanny became a poet and writer of lyrics of over 8,500 gospel songs and hymns, many of which are among the most beloved and popular to this day. At 6 weeks of age, Fanny became ill and her eyes were inflamed. Her family's regular physician was out of town, and a man posing as a doctor treated her by applying hot poultices to her eyes. Within days, scar tissue formed, leaving her blinded for life. As a young child, she compensated for her handicap by developing the ability to memorize great amounts of material. Before she was 10 years old, she had memorized most of the New Testament, along with the first 5 books of the Old Testament and many Psalms. Fanny so excelled as a student at the New York Institute for the Blind that upon graduation, she was asked to be a teacher there. She became very popular as a teacher, as well as a sought-after speaker for her poetry recitations. In spite of her popularity, she still knew something was missing from her life. After a cholera epidemic in 1849, which took the lives of half of her students, including one who died in her arms, Fanny knelt at the altar of a local revival and gave her heart to Jesus.
I am not
This desire to be near God was a driving passion of the hymn writer's life. From the joy of her 44-year marriage to Alexander von Olstein, himself a blind musician, to the heartbreak of the death of their only child in infancy, Fanny found Jesus to be the one who truly satisfies every need and longing of the human heart. Fanny was able to count many distinguished and successful public figures such as Presidents Grover Cleveland and James K. Polk as among her friends. During one visit to the nation's capital, where she had been invited to read a poem to the United States Senate, hers was the first woman's voice to ever be heard publicly in the Senate chamber. On another occasion, while visiting her good friend Phoebe Knapp, whose husband was a founder of the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, Fanny had the chance to hear a new melody that Phoebe had recently composed. Phoebe asked, "Fanny, what does this melody say to you?" Without a moment's hesitation, Fanny replied with the opening line to one of her most enduring hymns and the beginning of one of her greatest gifts to us.
Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day
One of Fanny's most beloved works did not achieve its popularity until well after her death. In 1875, she had written a song for Sunday school children entitled "Praise for Redemption." It lay all but forgotten for nearly 80 years. In the early 1950s, as Cliff Barrows was directing music for Billy Graham crusades and preparing for a series of services in London, he was encouraged by some of his English advisors to include the song. Nightly, it was an immediate favorite. He later reintroduced the song to America during a crusade at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. The song remains now and for the ages a majestic and stirring anthem of praise to God. Please rise and join us as we sing.